special things in life. For me in my home, I have a porch swing with Sunbrella, I have a sofa with Sunbrella, I have a fire pit with chairs around it with Sunbrella. I have 3 little kids, and so I'm kind of always in a state of sort of chasing someone who has a popsicle or chasing someone who accidentally threw their milk everywhere or whatever kind of other, toddler disaster is happening at my house. The amazing thing about Sunbrella is it doesn't really matter kind of what is spilled on it, it can come right out. My name is Sarah Dooley, and I am the marketing director here at Sunbrella. I'm responsible for all the marketing efforts for residential, indoor, and outdoor.
Hello everybody, my name is Greg Vorse. I'm the Executive Design Director for Sunbrella Fabrics. What we do here at Sunbrella is make tons and tons of great fabrics, all different styles, all different textures, all different types of looks. Sunbrella is the leader in performance fabrics for many different reasons. For one reason, we've been doing this for over 60 years. It's not something that we just started 10, 15 years ago. And matter of fact, the very first yard of Sunbrella fabrics was woven in this very building that we're sitting in for Sunbrella HQ. In my 25-year history and where I started, we were really just in the outdoor marketplace making canvas fabrics, bringing in some different, maybe a few different weaves here and there that are a little bit different, but we were up the roll stripes, canvas. And what we've evolved through in the past 25 years is now we're making these really heavy textures. We're using chenille yarns, we're using boucle yarns. So now we're blurring the lines between what should be indoors and what should be outdoors. And with the Sunbrella Performance story, it doesn't matter. You can coordinate both the fabrics that you want to put inside your house and what you're going to put outside the house. So with the Jensen furniture, you can make different combinations and coordinate all of the comfortable fabrics and the comfortable chairs with what you're doing inside your home as well. People often ask about the performance of Sunbrella fabrics. It's got color to the core. So you have a normal fabric where the color is just on the outside. Well, with Sunbrella, where the color goes all the way through. With the Sunbrella fiber, it starts in a liquid state with the pigment, then it's turned into a fiber. So you have color all the way through. So if you would slice it, you would see color all the way through the fiber. If you take a normal, like say cotton, starts out white, and then you put the color on it. So like if you go into our mill, you're gonna see all these bales of fiber that are all different colors from red, green, yellow, and blue. If you go into a cotton mill, everything starts out white and then later on put through the dye process. So you can see here in some of these stripes, all of the different colors. So that's how it started. From the pigment that is then turned into a fiber, turned into a yarn, and then we weave it into this fabric.
I'm Steve Paul. I'm Chief Marketing Officer for Glen Raven. I lead the marketing organization for Sunbrella and our other brands. So Sunbrella has really been sustainable since its first inception in 1961, when Sunbrella fabrics replaced cotton fabrics that were used on awnings and were much more long-lasting. Since that time, we've continued to innovate and expand into other categories and serve other needs, including outdoor furniture. When I think about sustainability, I like to think of it in 2 buckets. There's our fabrics themselves, and then there's our manufacturing processes. In terms of the fabrics, Sunbrella is long-lasting. It means it needs to be replaced less often, expanding the useful life of the furniture that it's a part of. In terms of our manufacturing processes, we're really cognizant of how we can reduce the environmental impact that we have. Our most recent factory expansion, we put in a variety of much more efficient customized looms that allow us to produce more efficiently. We use less water, use less energy, and in fact, we're able to use up to over a third less energy with these new machines than prior processes. We're also shifting towards renewable electricity. And in 2021, we secured 25% of our total electricity use around the globe from renewable resources such as hydroelectric and biomass. And through these efforts, we're well on our way to reaching our goal of 100% renewable electricity use by 2025.
In terms of consumer trends over the last few years, what we've really seen is an expansion of kind of the mindset for what you're doing with your outdoor space at home. People are thinking about the comfort level and the softness, the types of textures and the types of way that they use their indoor spaces, and defining those spaces for themselves outdoors.
Comfort is a key piece of what Sunbrella and Jensen want to deliver to the marketplace. With that comfort, you want softness, you want texture. So you can see here in this pillow, it has a multitude of yarns and a fancy weave technique to give it that softness and texture that you're always looking for.
More of a thought process around sofas and sectionals, larger seating than maybe you've seen in the past. Building their outdoor spaces so that folks can come and gather and really spend time together, enjoy each other's company. Also a sense of style that maybe is a little bit more elevated and a little bit more different than what we've seen, compared to 10 years ago in the outdoor space. Now we're seeing folks really wanting to extend the style of their indoor spaces to their outdoor spaces.
In terms of color and styling trends, it's always a consideration of personal preference. However, with the outdoor category, we see people more willing to take risks and introduce pops of color within their spaces. Hi, my name is Amy Gillum. I'm the design manager for outdoor and retail segments at Sunbrella. I have been at Sunbrella since 2003, creating beautiful and functional fabric solutions. This concept of new luxury. And so this idea that consumers want spaces in which they feel are approachable and livable and function within the aspects of their daily lives. Some of the ways in which that is applied in terms of fabrics is creating things that have a nice, luxurious textural aspect to them. So it's introducing concepts that introduce novelty yarns, such as this fabric Nurture that has a nice boucle yarn with a looped effect. It's also translated in approachable color concepts, such as a stripe that introduces accent colors in a muted way. We have Nurture in a very approachable, versatile neutral. This texture that brings some additional surface interest to the category. And then another way in which you can layer in luxury is by doing so with different colors of the same hue within that neutral palette. So as you see here with Nurture, and then also the introduction of Bliss. Another thing that we see is leading in design is this idea of bringing joy to spaces. So leaning into this optimistic energy that is somewhat whimsical in nature by introducing fabrics that bring a pop of color and also an element that is whimsical in nature. Beautiful turquoise mixed with this stripe that introduces these subtle pops of color, grounded by this tried and true classic navy, which is anchored with this very classic stripe, bringing in some neutrals to help accentuate the space. And we can't forget our texture, which brings that element of coziness and softness to the environment. Another way to think about styling opportunities is to take inspiration from a mixture of eras. This collage type approach is a great way to combine different influences within the same space. It encourages being creative with what you combine and select to put together. One of the ways in which we demonstrate this through the fabrics that we have put together is really with the things that you mix. So it's all about a creative mixture of styles, which includes smaller scale patterns mixed with textural elements, introducing this very classic plaid with something that would be a little bit more modern and eclectic, like Principle, which is a fresh take on a classic plaid that brings together several different colors and also incorporates some texture. So really, again, like just leaning into some classic colorations, and then mixing those amongst different types of planes, textures, and patterns. This beautiful strié texture that's incorporating a mixture of color.
I think one thing that really aligns the two companies is the commitment to quality. Jensen is really focused on bringing quality product to the marketplace in the same kind of mentality that Sunbrella is. And for both companies, it's really about the quality of the materials that make up those final products. So for us at Sunbrella, we're focused on our color to the core technology, which as a solution dyed acrylic, we have our proprietary fibers that are at the heart of every single one of our yarns that's then woven into our fabrics. For us, that means that our performance is literally woven into the fabric itself. At Jensen, they have a forest that they pull from that is a sustainably farmed forest, and from there, not only are they just taking that wood and creating furniture from it, they're focused in on the heartwood. So they're using kind of the core piece of the trees that they are harvesting to make sure that the wood that they're bringing in their furniture is the strongest and going to provide them with the best finish on actually every single frame that they bring to market.